The city of Hong Kong has seen colonial rule by the British transformed into a free trade zone under communist influence from the People's Republic of China. This video essay aims to show how Hong Kong cinematic history reflects this turn, and the duality of the one country, two systems doctrine that has come to characterize Hong Kong. Much of Hong Kong cinema has revolved around a lone protagonist, the Ronin or the martial arts hero. One such early example is Fist of Fury, where the narrative focuses on a man's pursuit of vengeance, a pursuit to which the hero loses himself. The struggle between justice and wrong, purity and corruption, is one that we'll be exploring further as we go. Similarly, a Chinese ghost stories narrative focuses on a hero's journey to protect the purity of a friendly spirit from the grasp of evil forces. The film's most prominent symbolism lies in the use of color and lighting. White soft cloth enveloping the innocent spirit, while the underworld is prominently featured as masked in shadows and dark blue. A major success both in Chinese markets and the West, Ang Lee's epic martial arts drama Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is nothing short of visual poetry. The film makes evident how cinema can cross borders without leaving cultural diversity on the cutting room floor. By placing a female lead in the role of the martial artist, Lee adds another layer of the duality of the individual versus collectivism seen in most martial arts films. Police Story moves the hero and the duality of purity and corruption into a contemporary Hong Kong setting. Although this police action film is largely humorous in tone, it is an early example of Hong Kong action film dealing with a righteous man forced to use violent methods in the pursuit of justice. However, the moral implications remain in a simplistic black and white state. Hong Kong filmmaker John Woo puts this simplicity to the test, having his protagonists participate in an almost operatic display of violence. Within these characters lie both aspects of the moral dualism present in Hong Kong in the 90s. They have a righteous purpose, but their actions paint them as anything but good in a strict sense. Enter Wong Kar-Wai. His films Chungking Express and Fallen Angels shared the dualist approach of previous films, but marked a change in narrative approach. Their style was fresh and new, employing tilted or fly-on-the-wall camera angles, highly stylized editing, and unconventional music. Fallen Angels paints a picture of a contemporary Hong Kong filled with searching individuals who live fleeting lives, lives we get to experience without knowledge of characters' past or future. This is coupled with a change of narrative structure, a kind of doubling, where two stories with many themes in common are told side by side, but without much direct interaction. Wong Kar-Wai's style manages to be both larger than life and down to earth, in that it lingers on the small moments that comprise most of life. A person sitting by themselves, thoughts elsewhere, for example, in Kar-Wai's films become a moment of reflection for audience and characters alike. In The Mood for Love focuses on the companionship between a man and a woman who deliver their feelings and the hurt they carry with them through moments of crying, eating, and conversing.
Sure, lesson one.
Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle takes place in 1940s Shanghai, but features much of the same polemic that we've seen in other Hong Kong film. The opposition between communities and gangs is largely in service of humor, but applies the same dualism between purity and corruption discussed earlier. The protagonist is another example of a character trying to walk the path between the city's potential for corruption and the positive force of family and community. The film also managed to bring these issues to a Western audience. The hugely inspirational film Infernal Affairs revisits the dualist narrative structure of Wong Kar-Wai and uses it to strengthen the dramatic tension of the action. The camera work is dynamic, rarely still for long, and the musical score doesn't hide its presence. Yet the focus on the troubled protagonist is not lost. Two talented police officers taking different paths in life as they maneuver the moral intricacies of contemporary Hong Kong. The lean narrative is effective because the characters' moral choices and their similarity is at the forefront. Martin Scorsese's remake tries to transplant the plot of Infernal Affairs into Boston. Although the choice to give the narrative a Christian emphasis is largely effective, much of the cultural context that makes the Chinese original a deep dive into the human condition is lost, leaving us with the thought that the duality of modern Hong Kong is an essential part of Hong Kong cinema.
When I was your age, they would say we could become cops or criminals. Today, what I'm saying is this. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?